Deep within the Arctic, a living fortress survives. The walrus wasn't built for war, but for the ultimate test of endurance. Welcome to the ancient sanctuary, where every scar tells a story of 1,000,000 years of survival. There were many ancient creatures that shaped the Arctic into what it is today. Long before ice ruled the seas, around 20 to 25 million years ago, one presence already demanded respect. From the freezing waters came enormous tusks, sharp like living spears. As millions of years passed, those tusks kept growing. They were not just tools to dig along the sea floor. They were weapons to fight, to dominate, to survive. This prehistoric walrus was bigger and stronger than the ones we know today. Its tusks were made for battle, for dominance, for survival in a brutal world. It faced the giant sharks of the past, predators that turned every dive into a silent war. It also confronted primitive killer whales, more aggressive, more relentless. Pack attacks tested its strength and endurance. Along the frozen coasts, it fought for territory against massive seals and rival walruses. Tusks crashed, bodies slammed. Only the strongest stayed standing. During the Ice Age, its body became larger, heavier, almost impenetrable. Every scar carried the memory of a fight it survived. And even today it still fights. But this will be its last sunrise. Its time is over. As the world changes, new enemies rise. In the endless white of the Arctic, the polar bear waits. It does not run. It does not strike on impulse. It watches for hours, sometimes for days. It knows the walrus is not weak. It just needs to be in the wrong moment. A distracted calf, an isolated adult, a step away from the group. Then it moves across the ice, trying to split them, to create chaos, because facing many walruses together is almost impossible. But when he sees an opportunity, the attack happens in seconds. The weight of his body is thrown forward. The ice cracks. The group erupts. And in that brief moment, between silence and impact, survival decides who remains. In the dark water, another danger glides forward. The orcas, silent, organized, intelligent. They do not meet strength with strength. They meet strategy with strategy. They circle from below, build waves, shake the ice. They push the walrus to the edge where the ice ends. And when one falls into the water, the attack becomes collective, fast, precise, without warning. Sometimes the walrus escapes. A delayed movement, an instinctive impulse, one extra second granted by chance. The body reacts, predator falls behind, and in that rare moment, fate tilts in her favor. But not always. Other times there is no strength, no time, no mistake from the predator. Slowness wins, silence closes the space, and distance ceases to exist. Deeper still, in the frozen shadows of the ocean, the great sharks remain. They do not challenge healthy giants. They wait for the mistake, a calf, a wound, a body worn down after too many dives. The ambush comes from the darkness when the walrus searches for food on the seafloor. Even then, the walrus was never an easy target. It trusted the group, the size of its own body, the ice beneath its tusks. For thousands of years, that was enough. But now something different has begun. The ice has shrunk, and it cracks without warning. Man is also her predator. He does not come from the depths or move silently across the ice. He comes with intention, with tools, with choice. Sometimes he hunts to survive, other times for profit, for excess, for neglect. And unlike other predators, he does not wait for the walrus to make a mistake. He changes the world around her. He removes the ice, shortens time, alters balance, and when the walrus can no longer find a place to rest, to flee, to react, it is not a visible hunt. It is a slow, inevitable loss that begins long before the attack. Then there is no choice. The end does not arrive in an explosion. It arrives in calm. In the dark depths, where no one sees, life fades without struggle, because in that moment, escape was not part of destiny. For the first time in millions of years, the greatest threat does not come from the sea floor or from the ice around it. It comes from the silence of an Arctic that is disappearing. So the question is not whether the walrus knows how to fight. It always has. The question is whether the world will still allow it to continue. When the ice disappears, the walrus loses more than ground. It loses time to react, It loses rest. It loses protection. It loses the advantage against predators that have watched it for thousands of years. It survived eras, extreme climate shifts, and mass extinctions. A true survivor of deep time. And even now, the walrus still fights to exist, because survival has always been part of its story. Despite living for millions of years facing countless dangers, the walrus was not born for violence. She avoids confrontation until the very last limit. She fights only when there is no choice, when retreat means disappearing. And when she fights, it is not for dominance, it is to keep existing. She was never made to run. She was made to endure, to withstand the cold, the weight, the passage of time. She is an ancient being walking into an uncertain future. On the clock of extinction, the Arctic is living its final minute, and every rising degree pushes these giants out of their own history. Evolution took eons to carve these bodies, and now, one long summer is enough to undo it all. When the ocean fails to freeze, home becomes a trap, and survival becomes mere luck. The end doesn't come with an explosion. It comes with the open sea and heavy steps searching for a ground that no longer exists. The ice is more than just a home. It's a sanctuary that is slowly vanishing. As the clock ticks, we must ask, will these titans remain, or will they become mere echoes of the past? You are watching Ancient Sanctuary. Protect the history, preserve the wild. Subscribe to keep the sanctuary alive.